Vishawambhari Prabhu to come and speak for a minute and a half.
I was actually in Mayapur serving him 2002 for the last few days, and he changed. It was like he took off the suit as a general and he put on a suit. Well, he didn't have any suit, and he, like usually a Madhyamadikari, it's, he's always preaching, managing, and very, demanding. But on those few days that I was serving him, he didn't have that spirit. He was just, like somebody said, into chanting Hare Krishna, and he was preparing for something. It was a new chapter of his life. He didn't even knew himself what he wanted to do next, and he was having meetings with his god brothers. What should I do next? It was the first time that actually was bewildered. So he was very like a father towards me, not even as a guru. And I found those few days very very intimate, because our relationship, I was his first European disciple, and it started, like very formal. He was very disciplined with his disciples, with all of them, but then it became friendly over the years. And then in 2002, actually even before 2002, it was December 2001, that he invited me and my wife at the Oxford Center where he was staying, and he said that this is just looks like Last Supper. He was like at the head of the table, and he said, "You are my son, you got your children, your wife." Vishawambhari Maharaj was there. He was speaking like very familiar, informal, and he said, "Be free to express the way you want." It was because for years it was always difficult actually to associate with him. We had so many up and downs, but at the end, in those last years, the year before he passed away was more like father and son, the relationship. And so in the last few days before he passed away, I saw that here is not my guru, but I could see my father in front of me. And one thing I noticed, that every time he would pack his bag the day before he would go anywhere, he would always like to be on his own. Am I correct, Giridhar Swami? Because I've served him for many, many years. And he never liked anybody to knock at the door, and he just needed concentration. So that evening, the evening before he passed away, he asked me to be with him. And he was packing. It took him about 1 hour just to pack his suitcase. He was very slow. Usually he was very dynamic, very, very slow. It was all strange to me, his behavior. Then he said, "I want you to do a special service, to go to the Ganga and bathe on my behalf." And then there was a few other disciples there. And then he had this almirah in the room with bundles of rupees, dollars. And he said, "What should I do with this?" I said, "Well, you can't take it out of India. It's illegal to take rupees out of India." And he said, actually, he threw it on the bed. He said, "Actually, I don't need his money anymore. And then he smiled, he stopped packing, and he said, tomorrow I'm going home. It was very, I said, I didn't really went deep, to what he meant. I thought I was a bit more external. I said, since when England is your home? And then he was smiling. So I just felt that those last few days, it was, I felt very, very close to him, and even his God brother, and then he told me that the wealth that Srila Prabhupada has left me, the only wealth, is the association of my God brothers and my God sisters. I just wanted to say this because it indicates how much he loved his God brothers and God sisters. And of course, his grandchildren, the old growth of ISKCON. He was always concerned, not just about his disciples, but the growth of ISKCON from different branches, different gurus. And also, we should remind the devotees that if you see all these Chinese devotees coming here to Mayapur, actually Tamal Krishna Maharaj is the catalyst principle behind. He's actually the one who has planted the first seed in China. And of course his followers, they're watering these seeds. And you can see wonderful devotees, they come to Mayapur. And anyway, so it was then the sad part came on the next day. I got a call from Shivram Swami and Bhattichuru Maharaj, and I was in the temple, and they brought the body here, and it was unbelievable. Sometimes you hear something, but the soul doesn't accept it. It's very difficult to accept that something has happened about someone that you love. And they said, there is no one to do the last rites. We don't want the God brothers to do the last rites. And they chose you and Guru Narayan to do, and I think Eka Chakra was there as well. And so they put me in charge of the last rites to wash the body and to dress him up, put on tilak, and then there was something very interesting. Jayapataka Swami tried to close his eyes, and the eyes, they wouldn't close, they were frozen, wide open. I think you were there, Maharaj, isn't it? There was about 60 sannyasis in the room, and they couldn't close it, and he had a little smile on his face. It was almost like ha 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 to his God brothers, I'm gone. It was very a cheeky smile. When you see the Lord Jagannath with big eyes, a little cheeky smile. It was a beautiful darshan, but at the same time, there you have the body of a dead, of the guru. But the soul must have still be there around, because he wanted to see every one of his God brothers. So we took the body into the Radhamadhava temple, and every devotee was offering flowers. So we had a very fast system. And then they tried again to close his eyes, they wouldn't close. And so we brought the body here around the samadhi, and then put the body in the pit. And then myself was lowered in the pit, about 3 meters deep. And I was putting the salt underneath his body. And then when I covered up the body, I didn't want to put the salt in the eyes. So what I did was, Bhattichuru Swami gave a very beautiful cushion his own personal cushion to put underneath his head. I took 2 flowers and I slowly closed the eyes, and they closed. And Jayapataka Maharaj said the reason why they didn't close before, because he wanted to see every single devotee before he departed. And then we covered the body with the salt, the muck, and there it goes. And then the rest is history. But I think he's still there, very much alive, into the heart of his God brothers. He's a legend. Srila Prabhupada, he trusted him. Prabhupada actually, he told me several times, Prabhupada invited him in his confidence, very deep confidence, to give him the key for personal things like passport, documents. He was the only one to hold the keys. Prabhupada was very meticulous about, the personal possessions. So he did a lot for this movement, and I feel very grateful, very humble to be somehow or another linked to him. And I try to never disgrace him in any way, and always try to put in practice the training that he has given me. So I want to thank you very much for listening, and Hare Krishna, Haribol.